Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome to the channel. Hopefully all of you are doing well out there. I'm, of course, your host, World of Blitz, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Tier 9 German Super Heavy, the Mäuschen. Now, this is a vehicle that is very, very reminiscent of the Tier 10 on the line, the Maus. When Wargaming did add this line to the game, I was actually very, very happy because I love the Mäuschen. A lot of people don't necessarily like playing it. It does have a lot of weaknesses, like really easy to penetrate side armor if you over-angle. The turret does have a cupola on it, but it is a pretty well armored cupola. But the good things about this vehicle is, first of all, it carries the exact same gun as the Tier 10 Maus. Granted, it's got a little bit worse penetration, but the aiming time and dispersion is the same. It's got the same standard pen and the same premium penetration, which makes this vehicle pretty dang good when you're trying to slap Big Alpha, especially in the Tier 8 opponents. Not only does this vehicle have all that, but just like the Maus, this thing carries the most hit points in Tier 9. 2,500. That's a massive chunk of HP, and that means that pretty much you can weather any Tier 8 storm, as I'm sitting at around, what, maybe 500, 600 or more hit points in your average Tier 8, so pretty dang good stuff there as well. So in this battle here, this is where the Mäuschen is pretty much the king of the battlefield. The great thing about the Mäuschen, unlike the Maus, is that you can get games like this against Tier 8 vehicles that you really couldn't do much against in the Maus. A Maus, you're always playing pretty much against Tier 10s, no matter what, and you're also going to be playing against Tier 9s, which have very, very high penetration for the tier they're in. Tier 8's very, very bad penetration, judging that this thing is in this battle here. Vehicles like, let's say, the IS-3, the FCM-50, even the T-92 are really going to struggle to penetrate me, at least frontally, without loading premium. So we're going to make our way up the main hill. You will see one of the bigger issues with the Mäuschen is the mobility. It's not very fast. One of the bigger things, like the Maus actually has a very good power to weight ratio. This thing does not. It's not very fast at all, which isn't great, but it still does make its way into position eventually. And hopefully we're going to be getting a big ol' shell right into the FCM-50T's turret. Aiming, and here we go. Let's get a big ol' shot, and boom! 465. Thank you very much for your hit points. That is where, of course, this gun is very nice, getting big shells out like that. So let's reload one more time here, and hopefully get a big ol' shell once again into somebody. We got the ISU off to the side over here. We got the SU-130. Maybe we can slam a big ol' shell into the side of this ISU. Let's try it. Definitely hit. Not sure if it pens, but a hit is a hit. I can tell you that. So, you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep on driving up here. We got the ISU right out in the open, who we could be able to get another shell into. Aiming, 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 and... well, I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? So, there goes the ISU. Even if the SU-130 hits me, I'm not too worried, judging that there's really not much left on the enemy team already. So, let's make our way behind the ST-1. Oh, hello there, Mr. Glacial. How are you doing, buddy? How do you like big ol' shells into your tank? This is, of course, again, where this vehicle is super strong. Being able to deal with Tier 8 heavy tanks like they're butter. Like, this guy, not only are we going to pen him every time, but, again, as you can see, armor, yeah, it doesn't really matter because we can easily cut right through him with standard shells. And I feel kind of bad for tanks like this because, well, what is he supposed to do to me? I'm just going to keep angling. Even if he pens me, like, I've got so much more armor than him, there's really not much he can do. So we're just going to tap a shell right up his booty, and he's going to be taken out. Now, all we have left is the T-92E1, an IS-3 on my rear, who's not really going to do much to me. So let's just... there you go. An IS-3 bouncing my rear. Sorry, I misspoke of that. The Mäuschen's actually got a really weird turret design, as you can see. If you shoot in there, you will get some occasional bounces. But, just missing the HE there. Big sad. The T-92, I'm not really sure what he's been doing on the other side of the map for the enemy team, but yeah, this is going to be our first very easy victory. Well, we didn't get out the most damage. As you saw, I pretty much just drove right up center line, and that's all you need to do in the Mäuschen. It's able to weather the storm on pretty much any battle. And here we are stuck on the side of the map. So, yeah, Mäuschen pretty dang strong. Now, against Tier 10s, you'd think that this vehicle isn't the best because, yeah, the armor isn't the strongest against Tier 10s, but it still does have a lot of good things. As I've said, hit points are a big one. It's able to weather the storm because it's got so many hit points that even against Tier 10 heavies, I've got more hit points in this vehicle than your average Tier 10 heavy tank. A good example is like the T-95E6. This thing is sitting at 2,544 hit points. A T-95E6 is sitting around 2,430. So not only do you have more hit points than your average Tier 10 heavy, which means that if you trade shots, you can actually come out on top most of the time. But as well, you've got, oh, another tier 8 game. Hoo hoo hoo. I will take that. But as well, you've got Alpha, which is something that's great. I love Alpha. And while it doesn't seem like the Mäuschen and the Maus have a big Alpha because they're just such large beasts, it really does have a big Alpha. 460 is more than, let's see, we've got more than the Tortoise, the Emil one, the Progetto, not really the 49, the 704, and the Hori are, of course, tank destroyers. But against heavy tanks, you do a lot more damage than your average heavy. So I'm going to be making my way over to heavy lane. Now, something I found funny is that yesterday's video, some guy was commenting. He's like, Droodle's rigs, he gets too much RNG. And I was like, that game I missed, like, well, maybe 4 or 5 shells on the move at the end there. This game. But let's see what we can do in the Mäuschen. We got the Emil one off to the side, who isn't going to be able to do much to me, I can say. And we're just going to overmatch his side armor here. There you go. Nice tap into him. Let's wiggle so the C75 is a tough time petting me. There you go. Nice bounce from the C75. Now we got the Hori off to the other side. Let's see if we can do anything about that. There's a lot of vehicles here, which are all very, very deadly. And, yeah, I don't necessarily want to play with all of them, but let's tap a nice shot into that Hori. There you go. Thank you very much. I don't necessarily like going up against Horis. Those things are very, very deadly. In fact, the entire enemy team is very deadly. I've got to be careful here. Oh, I guess, yeah, that's where the weak side armor comes into play. As you can see, it is very easy to over-angle the sides on this tank, which make it very weak in certain circumstances. So I'm just going to keep on wiggling here. There's a nice bounce from the Hori, which means that we can back up and hopefully get a pendant right into his lower plate. There you go. Nice tap for 433. Now we can start angling once again. Hopefully, though, my team does not fall apart because, as you can see, it seems like they're going to, which isn't great. So let's just keep on doing our best here. Let's angle towards the 75, maybe get a nice tap into his lower plate. There you go, and we're going to start backing up because this is a very, very bad scenario. As you can see, losing a lot of HP, and that's not what you necessarily want to do right off the beginning of your battle. So we're going to angle this and try and get a nice snap into the 75's lower plate. There you go, nice tap there. Sorry for blocking you, Conway, but I can't really do much about this. And, oh, just overmatching my lower plate. That's going to really hurt because our team is also very, very quickly falling apart. Not great for the Mäuschen here. Let's back up. I don't know what my team is doing, but I believe in the team. Maybe, just maybe, we're going to be able to win. Oh, no. We're going to angle it. Angle the tank and maybe get a nice snap right into Hori. Yes, that's right, Hori. You cannot beat the mighty Mäuschen. Because it's the Mäuschen, and you thought you could beat it. That is why you can't beat it. So we're going to put on our adrenaline here and finish off the Hori. Then we move our way on to D75 because he's going to bounce us. We've got... Oh, he didn't bounce us. That was a premium shell most likely going into our vehicle there. Well, let's keep making our way forwards here. Get a nice snap right into the lower plate of the C75. Now we can hopefully bounce his shell, I believe, in the E75 to not pen me. Come on. Yes. Oh, yeah. Look at that. OP Mäuschen armor here working like a beast. And now we just tap the 75 and look at that. Still managing to survive through thick and thin with the Mäuschen. So, it's a good vehicle, as you can see, even though we died and our team fell apart very quickly. I'm not sure even what our team was doing. I was not only able to take out pretty much the full health Hori. I think I was the only person that shot that Hori, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so we took out a full health tier 9 tank destroyer. We took out pretty much full health tier 9 heavy tank, and we shot the Emil 1 and as well the 704. Like, that shows you how strong this vehicle is. If you know how to run it correctly, even if you get penned by every shell, you still have so many hit points that you're able to weather through the storm, and that's why I think the Mäuschen is actually a really, really strong tier 9 super heavy. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you didn't ever think about grinding down the mouse line, I would actually highly suggest it. It is such a good vehicle because, first of all, the VK100 is a great grind. You start at the VK100, you've got 460 alpha, while your gun has got awful dispersion and very bad DPM. One thing that this vehicle does carry is fantastic frontal armor. I would say that this has got the best armor tier for tier out of the whole line because the upper plate is practically impenetrable. You move your way onto the Mäuschen, it's still very good armor, and judging that you're tier 9 when you're playing against tier 8, it's very good. And even against tier 10s, because you've got the same gun as the tier 10, you're able to pen them, which again is pretty dang good. And when you make your way onto the Maus, well, we all know the Maus is the king of super heavies. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you want to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. But other than that, hopefully all of you are doing well out there. Stay happy, stay healthy, and to be seeing you in the next one.